The Galactic Combat Academy's training hall fell silent as Commander Zixthor raised his upper manipulator. His exoskeleton clicked with authority as he addressed the assembled cadets from 47 different worlds. Dual-wielding, he announced in the common tongue. His translator rendering his chittering speech into comprehensible words, is a biological impossibility for combat-ready species. The neural pathways required to independently control two weapons while maintaining situational awareness simply do not exist in nature. The commander's compound eyes swept across the room. Most cadets nodded in understanding. The Velcrin with their forearms, the massive Krogan with their trunk-like limbs, even the fluid Aqualians in their mobile tanks. All had tried. All had failed. The dominant limb must control the primary weapon, Zixthor continued. The secondary limb can only provide support, a shield, a stabilizer, a backup. This is universal law coded into the very fabric of evolutionary neurology. In the back row, Corporal Sarah Chen raised her hand. Zixthor's antennae twitched. The human, of course. In the 3 months since Earth had been granted provisional membership in the Galactic Federation, humans had proven to be problematic. They asked questions. They challenged assumptions. They did things that shouldn't work. Yes, Corporal Chen. Sir, with respect, I don't think that's accurate. Sarah stood, her small frame barely reaching the shoulder height of most cadets. Humans have been dual-wielding for thousands of years. A rippling sound moved through the hall, the galactic equivalent of laughter. The Krogan beside her, a warrior named Thoric, let out a deep rumble. Little human, your species has been in space for barely a century. You know nothing of combat doctrine refined over millions of years. Sarah's jaw tightened, but she kept her voice level. Permission to demonstrate, Commander? Zixthor's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. Humans were arrogant, certainly, but they learned quickly. Perhaps a practical lesson in failure would benefit the entire class. Permission granted. Report to the sparring arena. Minutes later, Sarah stood in the center of the circular arena, its force-shielded boundaries humming with protective energy. Weapon racks lined the walls containing training versions of armaments from across the galaxy. Zixthor descended from the observation platform, followed by the entire class. Choose your weapon. Corporal, the commander said. Sarah walked to the rack and selected 2 curved training swords, each roughly a meter long. She hefted them, testing their weight, then spun them in a quick flourish. The blades whistled through the air in opposite arcs. Interesting choice, Zixthor observed. Swords are among the most difficult weapons to dual-wield. The weight distribution alone requires... I know what it requires, sir. Sarah settled into a ready stance, swords held at different angles, one high, one low. Who am I sparring? Thoric stepped forward, his massive frame casting a shadow over the human. I volunteer. This will be educational. He selected a single plasma staff, its ends crackling with training-level energy. In his hands, it looked like a child's toy. Begin when ready, Zixthor announced, activating his data recorder. This would make an excellent case study in why humans needed to follow established doctrine. Thoric moved first, surprisingly fast for his size. The staff swept toward Sarah's midsection in a devastating arc. She didn't retreat. Instead, she stepped forward, her left sword deflecting the staff upward while her right slashed toward Thoric's exposed flank. The Krogan barely managed to twist away, surprise registering in his small eyes. Lucky, he growled, attacking again with an overhead strike. Sarah's swords moved independently, as if controlled by 2 different fighters. Her right blade caught the staff and redirected it, while her left was already in motion, forcing Thoric to abandon his follow-through and defend. The pattern repeated, block and strike, parry and counter, each sword operating in its own rhythm yet somehow perfectly synchronized. The arena fell silent except for the clash of weapons. Thoric, a decorated veteran of 12 campaigns, found himself steadily pushed backward. Every attack was met by one sword, while the other exploited the opening. His single weapon, despite his skill, couldn't be in 2 places at once. Sarah pressed her advantage, her smaller size becoming an asset as she ducked under his guard. Her swords became a whirling barrier, each covering the other's recovery time. There was no gap, no opening. When Thoric attempted a desperate charge, she sidestepped and swept his legs with one sword, while the flat of the other tapped his neck. The killing blow. Match, Zixthor announced, his voice subdued. Thoric stood slowly, pride wounded but honor intact. How? He demanded. The neural coordination alone should be impossible. Sarah lowered her swords, breathing hard but grinning. Human brains have unusually large cerebral hemispheres, sir. Our left brain controls our right side, and our right brain controls our left. With training, we can make them work together or independently. We call it ambidexterity. She turned to face the assembled cadets. Ancient human warriors, samurai, knights, pirates, many trained to fight with two weapons. It fell out of favor when firearms became dominant, but the capability never left us. We used to have to practice for years. She spun the swords again. Now we have neural trainers and muscle memory downloads. I learned this in 6 weeks. Zixthor's antennae quivered as he processed this information. Your species can train 2 limbs to operate with complete independence? Not just limbs, Commander. Sarah's grin widened. A human pianist can play 2 different melodies simultaneously, 1 hand each. A drummer can maintain 4 separate rhythms. We can write with 1 hand while drawing with the other. Our bodies are built for multitasking. The commander's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of deep thought among his kind. This changes the combat paradigm entirely. If your species can field warriors capable of wielding 2 weapons with full proficiency. Watch this, Sarah interrupted. She tossed one sword to her left hand, then the other. In a blur of motion, she swapped their positions 3 times, each hand catching and throwing in perfect alternation, never dropping either blade. When she finished, the arena erupted in sounds, clicks, whistles, rumbles of amazement from dozens of species. Commander Zixthor updated his combat database, flagging human capabilities for immediate strategic review. It appears, he said carefully, that Earth brings more to the Federation than we anticipated. Class dismissed. Corporal Chen, remain behind. We have much to discuss. As the other cadets filed out, casting new glances of respect toward the small human, Sarah sheathed her swords and smiled. Humanity had just rewritten another supposedly universal rule. They were getting good at that.